Alright, dude, we've got these line graphs, and these are actually kind of important. This table shows the attendance at a swimming pool for 5 months. So, in August, there were 2,500. Man, that must be a big swimming pool. In September, it was 3,500. In October, it was 2,000. November, it was 2,500. And in December, it was 4,000 people. This kind of doesn't make sense to me because, I mean, if it's a swimming pool, you figured that it would be the least amount in December because that's when it's coldest. But what are you going to do? All right. We can represent this on a line graph. And we basically just say, all right, here's my x-axis. It's usually the horizontal axis, which is this x-axis is like the months. So August, September, October, November, December. And then my y-axis, which is the vertical one, is the number of people. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And so if each of these lines is worth or each of these is, if this is 1,000, then this line right here must represent 500 because you go 0, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. But they didn't want to write all of those in, so then they just put in every other one. So in August, you're at 2,500, so then you put a dot right there. And then in September, you're at 3,500, so you put a dot right there. So you 3,500. And then in October, it's down to 2,000, then November, then December. Okay. This actually does represent a rate. When the rate is a big rate, it's a fast-growing rate, then the line is more vertical. When the rate is a slower growing rate, then the line is more closer to horizontal. So like this rate right here grows faster than this rate right here because this thing is more closer to vertical. It's more angled up versus this one is not so angled up. You also have a decreasing slope when the line is going down. Kind of think of this as a roller coaster. You're going up over here, and then over here you're going down, and then you gotta go up a little bit, and then you go up a lot. There was an increase in attendance from August to September. What was this increase? Okay. So, from August to September, it went up. And by how much did it go up? Well, it went from 2,500 to 3,500, so it went up by 8,000. That's pretty simple, straightforward. Okay. There was a decrease in attendance from September to October. Okay, September to October. It started off at 3,500 and it went down 2,000. So how far did it drop? Well, 3,500 minus 2,000 is 1,500. So it decreased by 1,500. What is the difference between the attendance in September and the attendance in December? Okay, so we have the December's over here and September's over here. The difference between those two is just one of these tick marks, which is only 500. See, when we graph our information, it makes it really easy for us to kind of see the data that we're looking at. Alright, let's do this one. The line graph shows the number of people in a supermarket by the hour from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it looks to me like when I look at the graph over here, it looks like it goes up and peaks over here and then comes back down, which is kind of saying, alright, maybe people are getting home from work around here, and then they start going to the store, more and more people to go, and at 8 o'clock, that's when the most people, that's when it's the busiest because everyone's off of work and they want to cook their dinner, or maybe they're having dinner at the supermarket, or I don't know, whatever. And then they go, and then not as many people come in the end. What was the increase in the number of people from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, so from 7 to 8. I guess the question I have to ask myself is how much does each of these little lines represent? So if this is 50, then this must be 25. 25, 50, 75, 100. 125, 150, 175, 200, and so on and so forth. So 7 to 8 p.m., I went up 1, 2, 3 tick marks, which is 25 people. Yeah, all right. What was the decrease in the number of people between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.? So how far did I drop? I went down 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks, which we know is 100, because I went from 200 to 100, so I went down 100 people. All right. The line graph shows a weekly sales of furniture made by a company during a 4-week trade fair. Use the graph to answer the questions which follow. Okay. The weekly sales decreased from $200,000 in the 3rd week to $50,000 in the 4th week. What was this decrease? Well, each of these tick marks, if this is $100,000, then each of these tick marks, and what I mean by tick marks is like one of these blocks, represents $50,000. So they went down 1, 2, 3 tick marks, which is 3 times 50, which is $150,000. So apparently in between week 3 and week 4, they lost $150,000. What was the average sales for the week? Oh, okay. Well, that's actually a problem that we know how to do. You would take up all of these numbers. So I'm going to take this week and that week and that week and that week, add them all up, and then divide it by however many numbers I added, which in this case is 4. So let's do the problem. In a second. Let's take care of this. Keep this here. Here, there we go. All right. Let's do the problem and take a look at this. All right. I am adding 100,000 plus 150,000 plus 200,000 plus 50,000. Then dividing that number by 4. All right. So 100 plus 150 plus 200 plus 50. So that would be, let's see, this would be 200, 400, 500. 500,000, oh, too many zeros. 500,000 divided by 4. Okay. That's not going to come out to a nice number, but we can try our best. 500,000 divided by 4. This goes into 1 time. 1 times 4 is that. So I'm going to drop down the 1, drop down the 0. So 4 goes into 8, or 4 goes into 10 2 times. This becomes 8. Drop down the, or subtract, and then I get the 2 here. Drop down a 0 again. 4 goes into 20 5 times. Then you have the extra zeros left over because that's a perfect amount that it goes into it. So my answer is 125,000 is my average. All right, cool.